Hello, welcome to session number 1 in the series Web Technologies. My name is Anurag Nigam, and we are going to talk about some of the technologies which are web. They are used for making websites, web applications, web services, right? So now, uh, what's the need for learning web technologies? Well, besides web sites, web applications, even desktop applications currently are using web technologies. So we will start with the very basic, and you can use any editor to start learning. So we will start with the HTML, and later we will progress to CSS and followed by JavaScript. Now, what is HTML? Uh, it's a hypertext markup language. So it's basically uh, you have a text and which has to be provided a certain structure, and that structure can be, let's say, a text has a heading, it has paragraphs, and then you want to highlight some word or some line, you want to emphasize is a word or italicize a word. That can be done using HTML. Now, when we author a document, let's say Microsoft Word, its formatting is also done by some form of a markup, right? Now, basically, this document formatting using markup language is mostly done for uh, web web pages, right? And these web pages they open in a web browser. So one of the web browser is Internet Explorer. Then there are other web browsers like Firefox, Chrome, and all that. Now, if you open any page, you can right click and inspect. So when you do that, so I'm doing this in Firefox. So you see that this is in the form of a code here, or HTML code here, right? And then there is certain formatting which is known as CSS or cascading style sheets. So this is what you see here in the right side here, right? So mostly when you see here, it says doc type HTML, direction left to right, language English. Okay, then it says this is the head or a header, and then it has got certain more tags like meta, character stacks, character set is UTF-8. Okay, and then it is giving you certain policies and content and all that. So this looks a little complicated. We'll start with very simple stuff. Again, here you'll see a tag called link, and then it says relevance is icon, and then type is image PNG, and then a reference. So this basically is the location for that icon, right? And rel stands for relevance, right? So you see here, this is called the head of the document, and then head is followed by the body. So this is the basic structure of a HTML document. And what's inside the body? Inside the body, you have got, well, you can see there are buttons and all that, right? This we will learn when we start doing something called JavaScript, where we define the button behavior and all that stuff, right? So there is a class called div class. This is something called grouping tag. So you can group tags inside div tag. So these are different tags. And what you will observe is that, let's say there is a beginning of a tag which says head, then there is a end of the tag which has a / head. So usually the tags come in pairs, right? So here you can say similarly HTML and then / HTML at the bottom, you can see. So these tags, they come in pairs. Then there are certain tags which do not have these pairing. Okay, so this can be in single tag form. Okay, so these are called tags. Now besides a tag, within the beginning tag there are certain things like class equal to something, style equal to something, and so on, right? Now these are called attributes of the tag. So now this basically has given us a lot of learning into what is HTML. Okay, so you can cancel this. So this is the page which you are looking at, right? And this page has been structured using first HTML, which structures the document as a head and a body, and then it also defines uh, the various text content as paragraphs, right? Then it also puts these buttons, right? So this is basically, these buttons have a functionality which is defined by the JavaScript, right? And the style of this document is defined by cascaded style sheets or CSS. So there are three technologies in action here. First is the HTML, and second is the styling, which is CSS, and third is the functionality, which is done by the JavaScript. So now we will start with something very simple. Okay, so for this you can use any editor to write or author a HTML page. Even a notepad will do it, but notepad basically doesn't have some form of Intellisense. What is Intellisense? Yeah. When you start typing, it will provide you with hints on code completion, right? So that it tells you how to write the code. So that's there in lot of editors. One of them is called Atom, right? Let's see if I can find that. So this editor is called Atom. It's a very simple and very small size editor which you can download for free and install it, start using it. So now how do you do that? So once you have installed it, just look at its icon somewhere over here. So there's an icon here in start menu. It may be here in the desktop itself called Atom, and you can just launch this editor. So first time it opens, it has a lot of panels, right? Now this is also an example of a application, right? So this application has got these panels, right? So for example, let's say, so first time when you open it, it doesn't open like that. Okay, so let's close all this. Can we just say, okay, let's start with a new okay, let's start with a new folder, and here you can find the location of installation, and here I'm going to call this folder as learn web. Okay, and say select, okay, sorry. Okay, so first of all you have to make a new folder. Okay, and so if I want, I can, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, this is a subfolder, doesn't matter. Okay, so I am going to be, without going into details of what this is, because we are at the very basics, so we are not structuring a project or a website, right? So we can create a page anywhere. So I can say file, it's a new file, and this editor opens a new file called Untitled. Unless you save it and provide it an extension, it doesn't know what this file is. So basically, Atom editor is used for authoring documents which are just not HTML. It can be Python and all that. So how does it detect whether it's a HTML, JavaScript, or a Python? It's by the extension. So I can say file, save, and I can call this as, so I can go inside this folder and I can call this as, let's say a website usually starts with the index, okay, dot html. So the extension is dot html. So as soon as you say dot html, now it will recognize that this is a HTML document. So let me make another file here, okay, and the file I will call as tags.html. So I'll just list the tags. Okay, so I'll go to text.html. So this is a HTML. So as soon as I put in here a less than, and then I follow it by greater than, so this comprises a tag, right? So as soon as I start typing, it gives me a hint, right? So first thing I can say that what type of document this is. So this is how you do it, doc type. So now you see this is a HTML attribute or a property, right? So it says HTML5, right? So doc type, and this is a HTML. Now you can also distinguish as the code as a JavaScript, right? So it's up to you, right? Okay, so sorry for the interruption, right? So this is telling what kind of document this is, right? And this dot basically says that it is not being saved yet, right? So I can just hit save, so that dot disappears. Okay, so what are the other tags? So the first tag I will call is HTML, right? And the closing tag for this will be /HTML, right? So whenever you have a tag, the contents of the tag should be all inclusive. So what do I mean by that? I think I mean is that you cannot start a tag like this. Let's say this is a head, and then it should be followed by a /head. So this is the right way of doing it, right? So you see that this head is totally included inside HTML tag. Now, if, for example, was to finish my tag over here, right? So now this tag is not, it cannot correspond this closing tag with this opening tag. So this is not all inclusive, right? So the content has to be all inclusive, right? So the correct way of doing this would be tag. So HTML document has got two portions. So one is the head, other is the body, right? So the body goes this way, /body. Okay, so now I've got two parts of a HTML document. One is the head. So now you see here at the top of this window, it says tags HTML C drive. This is called the title. So for this window, for this browser window, there is an icon here and it says tag.html -c user nigam app data local atom. So this is the location and this is the name of the editor. So this is called the title, right? So the page which you are trying to create, right, can have a title. So I can say title, and similarly a title would have a beginning tag and a ending tag. Now any discontinuities, Okay, they are basically ignored. So I can also write like this, right? On the same line, I can follow the closing tag, and here I can add a title. So let's say the title is about okay, so this is the company name. So basically, or I can say just this. So this is the title. Now let's just save this file, save, and just try to open this, right? So I have created a shortcut for this location, which is over here, right? So under Learn Lab, so there is a tags here. So if I was to open this, it will open in a browser, let's say Firefox, and you see at the top there is this title, Tanshiki Technologies Private Limited. So this is called the title of this page, right? So title of the page goes to the top, just like over here is a title here. Similarly, the page which I have just authored, right, has a title here, and what's inside the page, it's all blank, right, because I haven't written anything here, right? So this is the title. I can put an icon also following that, so we'll learn that later. So now let's make changes to this. Okay, so let's put here a heading. Now there are various heading tags. In between you have to put the heading text. Okay, so now this is a proper heading tag, and it says about okay, so now this is now these gaps, they have no meaning, right? So about Tanishiki Technologies, so this is a heading tag. So if I was to save this and this page is open over here, and if I put a refresh, you'll see that this comes as a heading. A heading has a certain font size, right? So I can structure my document to have a heading. Earlier to HTML5, you could put only one H1 tag or one main heading, and then there are subheadings, right? So how do I create subheading? Very simple. I can use H2 tag and say, okay, origins of the, okay. So this is a H2 tag, okay, and you will see this H2 tag will appear slightly smaller than the H1 tag. So I can just say save. Let me see if I'm recording. Yeah. So once I do the save, okay, and let's save this, and here it's already open. I am going to just refresh it. Okay, so now see, this is a heading which is slightly smaller than the H1, and then there is a gap in between, right? So I can tag, you know, I can write certain content over here under this heading, right? Okay, so this is about heading. Now let's see this. Control X, and let's go to the body and write here, uh, and I write a paragraph. So this is a paragraph tag. Again, there is no formatting information. I can just start typing the text. I can say Right, so I have written a simple paragraph like this, and can say file, save, and I can just refresh this. Okay, so I have written something about this company, right? Okay, so this is how you add a paragraph. Now let me add certain heading over here. Okay, so I have added a subheading under this paragraph, right? And I can say save, and I can go here and refresh this. Okay, so now I have written a little bit description about this company, and then I'm going to write about the origins of the company, right? So here I can put in another paragraph tag P, and it's a good practice to follow P by a closing tab so that you do not forget it. Okay, so I'm going to write something about the origins of the company. Company was registered on uh, January 22, 2020. Right, so this is the origin of the company. So I'm keeping it as short as possible, and let's say save. And if I was to refresh this, okay, so now under the subheading I have added this. Now I can add, right, h3 and h4 and so on, right? So these are up to h6. So these are the h1, h2, h3, these are the header. Now can I have a h1 again? Yeah, multiple h1s are also allowed. Okay, and here I can say something about the let's say under the origins, right? So after origin, let's say uh, what do we do, right? And then I can close the tag h1. Okay, so now I have added a heading below it, and then I can also put another paragraph and say we deal in development of following technologies, right? So now I can close the tab like this. Okay, so I have added another heading, h1 heading, different from this heading, and then I am putting another paragraph below it. So now what can I do with this? I will just save this, and I'm going to refresh this again. So I'm going to refresh this. So again, you have got another h1 tag here. So I can have multiple tags here, and then I can do some more things with it. So still, if you see, the web page has got no styling, right? But you can add a little bit of styling, but it's usually a good practice to keep styling separate from the structuring of the text. So for example, for this entire HTML, I can add an attribute which says direction is equal to, and then I can say left to right. This is the normal direction when you write English from left to right. But then for some languages like Arabic, I might be writing from right to left. So if I put a right to left, you can see the effect, right? So the entire document is going to shift right to left. So if I say file, save, and if I go here and say refresh, so you see that the entire thing has shifted to the left hand side, so to the right hand side. So it is now going right to left, right? So some of the text, some of the languages do that. Now, if you don't put this, left to right is by default, right? So if I save this and I refresh this again, so I'm back to where I was, right? So if you don't put anything, it will be assuming that you are going from left to right. Next thing is the language, right? So I can put here an attribute called language, and then there are different languages. You can put here English, and let's say English can be US English, right? So that's the way to describe the US English. So the document, the browser notes that the language here is a English, which is a US English. Okay, so I can just do save, and again I can do a refresh. So that effect you will not see here, US English, right? But it's a US English. Okay, so these are called attributes to the tag, right? Now here I can put another tag here. Okay, let's say I want to put a company URL. So the tag here is called A, and it is followed by the closing tag A, and in between I can put here the text which I want to point to some other page. So I can say visit company website, right? So now this is just a tag, just like, you know, paragraph tag, but here I can say that href. So this href is a property which will point to a certain page, right? So let's say, let's open another page, and let's say I go to okay, let's see if I'm able to open. So internet is working, right? Maybe I misspelled it. Okay, maybe I misspelled it. Internet is slow. Okay, so this is the company website. Okay, so I can just copy this, right? And I can add the link over here. So basically I can add the link over here. So now this tag or this piece of text is now pointing to this location, and that's how you link pages, right? So if I say save, and if I was to refresh this one, so let's close this one. Okay, so if I was to refresh this page, I have a hypertext here. So this is called hypertext. Any piece of text which points to another page will be called hypertext. And when you go to this text and you click that text, right? So the text is going to link to this page, and this page opens, right? So I can go back here, right? So this is how you add a hypertext which basically points to another page. Now when I roll my mouse over it, I have no information what this is. So if I want to add some information to this, I can add another tag. Now by the way, I can split the tag, I can go multi-line. Nothing stops me, because this editor or any browser will not regard this as a new line, right? So I can say companies. Sometimes the spelling mistake, COMPA, companies official website. right? So I have added another attribute to this tag, which will basically give you a pop-up text which says, what is this hyperlink text about? So I can just say save, and when I go here and refresh it, so over here you see there's no information when I browse here. Now I have refreshed it, nothing changed, but now look, whenever I am pointing to this link, it is popping up and telling me that this text points to company's official website. And if I click it, I go to the company's official website, which is over here, right? So this is very simple to do. So this is another tag, right? So now the tags basically can be categorized as two tags. One is a block tag. So all of these which I have shown, they are called a block tag. Now, apart from that, there are tags which are inline tags. So for example, let's say over here, I want to make this portion of the text is bold, right? So I can put here a tag bold. I can put here a closing tag like this. So now this portion of the text has become bold. Let's see, save, and when I go here, and you see here this date is not emphasized in any way. When I refresh it, now you see that this has become bold, right? And similarly, if I want the company's name to be italicized, I can go here and put inline tag which does that. So I can go here and say it is italicized, and so I can just say, or rather not over here, this is a heading, this is a title, let's do it over here. It says italicized, and I can put here the closing tag, right? And I save it, and if I refresh this, so you see that this is going to become italicized, right? So these are called the inline tags. Okay, so if I want, I can also put double tags around it. I can say I want to underline this also, and then italicize this, right? So I can say file save, and if I was to refresh this, so now this got italicized. Now if I want, okay, so this is how I am going to format my document, or rather just structure my document. So these are called the inline tags, right? And then these tags are called the block tags, right? So paragraph is a block tag, h1 h2 to h6 is a block tag. Now one thing is, h3 tag becomes the same size as the text, then h4 tag, h5 and h6 are going to become smaller, right? Okay, so this is something about tags. Now let's say we deal in spelling mistake, development of the following technologies, right? So this is a paragraph tag. Now in this tag I can put a list, right? So I can put an ordered list, for example. So I can say okay, so ordered list is also a block tag. So how do I write an ordered list? So inside the paragraph, we deal in development of following technologies. I'm going to put in an ordered list. So OL refers to ordered list, and then I can put here the closing tag OL, right? So basically it's just pointing out something. It's saying that you cannot nest this, right? This highlighting is saying that, and there is no need to embed one tag in one block tag inside the other, I can put a ordered list outside the tag. It still do the ordered list. So I'm going to put in here a bulleted list, and the list item is given by this tag with the closing tag as li. So opening tag, and in between I can put a list item. Right. So here, so what do we deal in? Oh, we deal in analog circuit design. We deal in microwave. We deal in MMIC designs. Okay. We deal in MMIC designs. Then we also deal in, let's say, mixed signal IC design. Right. Okay. Instead of analog, I'll just say analog IC. Right. Okay. So now we have this ordered list. Let's see how it shows up. So I'll just say save, and I'll go ahead and refresh this page again. Okay. So now you see here, this is a ordered list, and this one has got this ordering 1 2 3 number. Right now, this is by default. You can see here type, and this type can be this. It means that put numbers. Right, I can say save, and I can go ahead and refresh again. So it's doing 1 2 3, right? But if I want something like another form of Roman numerics, I can just put here property of type as I and save, and just go ahead here and say refresh. So you see here it has been changed to Roman numerics. Now if I want them in capital, I can put here capital I and just say save, and again refresh this one. So this is capitalized. Similarly, I can put here alphanumeric, like let's say A, and just say save. And here if I do a refresh, so it becomes ABC, right? Or if I want them capital, I can put here a capital A, right, and say save. And again here I can go ahead and say refresh, so it becomes capital ABC. Now I can also add another Boolean attribute. Now Boolean attributes do not have an equal sign, so I can say here reversed. Okay, so see the impact of reversed. I just save it, and if I go here and say refresh, so this becomes CBA. Or similarly, if it was a number, and if I had a reverse tag, a Boolean tag, then if I say that and I refresh this, becomes 3 2 1, right? So basically this is an ordered list. Now had this been an unordered list, so you can put here UL, and the tag is UL, and these tags have no meaning, right? And if this is an unordered list, so it will just show up as bullets. So if I go here and refresh here, so you see here these are the bullets, right? So this is an unordered list. Similarly, if I put here a detailed list, so this is like a name value pair kind of thing. Okay, and here what I can put here, two tags. So DL is basically detail list. So instead of list item, I can put here DT tag, DT, and here I can put here a heading which says analog circuits, right? And the DT tag ends here, right? And then I can put here a DD tag, which says I can put here what you say, a subcategory, where instead of, so what do? We can say here signal conditioning. So this is a tag ends here, right? Similarly, I can let's say, okay, let's just see this one, and let's put another here and say DT, and here say RFIC. So that's a DT tag, and then there is a data description DD tag, and say communication. For communication we do that, right? DD tag. Okay, so now this is an example of detail list. Okay, so I am going to save this, and I am going to go ahead and refresh this. So it says analog circuits. So inside analog circuits, I'm involved in signal conditioning, RFIC communication. So let's see if I add more DD tags. Does it accept? So DD power conditioning. Okay, and put here the DD tag. Okay, so let's just save this and go ahead and refresh this again. So now you see here the the data details are now added here. So this is also a form of detail list, right? So you can do something like that. Okay. Now I can put here, just for symmetry, I can put here radars. Right. And just say save. And if I refresh this page, so I see here under RFIC, I do communications and radars. Under analog circuits, I can do signal conditioning, power conditioning, and so on. Okay, so this is about the detail list. So you've seen the ordered list, the unordered list, and the detail list. So these are again some form of a grouping statement. Now, what if I wanted to create a page for analog circuits, right? And then add a link. So there can be a list of navigation links. So I can call this as nav, right? And so these are called the grouping tags. So nav is a grouping tag. So this is basically navigation links. So this is going to be a list of navigation links which are going to be grouped here, right? Similarly, I can go here and say div tag. So this is another form of grouping tag, right? So this is a grouping tag. Okay. Another grouping tag. So I'll just cover all the grouping tags here, and we can see this later on. There is a header. So this is another way of grouping it. So within a document, you can have multiple articles also, right? So this is a grouping tag. Similarly, I can have an article. So I can group my text as per what is the content of that article, right? So that's that. Okay. Okay, header, article. Then let's see any other. Okay, footer is also a grouping tag. Okay, so this is also a grouping tag. Sorry about this. Okay, another grouping tag is called a side. So this is like a kind of a sidebar or something like that. We will see this later on. But this is also a grouping tag. Right. Now, these are grouping tags. And then there is something called block code. That's also a grouping tag. Now, these tags is empty. So there's nothing going to happen to this document. So I'm going to just say save. And if I refresh it, I'll just don't see that. So nothing has happened here because those tags are empty. Now, under navigation links, I can put here different links here. Okay, and this is just a listing of the links. So using this A tag, I can put the links down there. Okay, now besides that, there is another tag which is called block code. Okay, and I can finish this with another block. Okay, so what can I do in this block code? I can say I can at the top I can say this is a paragraph tag. So I believe, or the company believes, company believes in, and so this is going to be printed as is, and then I can put a block code. Work should be fun. Okay, that's Japanese. Okay, so I can say Tanoshige means means having fun, right? So we can put this as a block code, right? So let's see what this will show up as. So I can say save, and when I refresh this, okay, so it says company believes in. So let me just correct that. Company believes in. Okay, and let me just save it. And here, let me just refresh it. Okay, so the company believes in work should be fun. Tanushiki means having fun. Okay, so now this is maybe somebody said that line, right? So I might put here a citation. I can say cite, and I can cite another page if I want. I can cite another location, or probably I can just cite here the company URL itself. So I can say Control C, Control V. So cite is basically a property which can be there with block code. Let's see how it works. Say save, and I go here, say refresh, and once I do that, it's not active. Okay, probably site is a location, but it doesn't refer there. Do you think I should do href? Can I do href on this one? Let's see. No, so basically it doesn't, but I think there should be a way to put here where this is, what's the citation for that. So that's basically used for that. Okay, and let's see if I can put here a title attribute, and over here I can say our belief. So just say save and go here and refresh this, and somehow this is not taking up. I should be able to, should come up with a pop-up like this. Maybe something I'm not doing correct. Okay, so I'm going to remove this if they are not working. Okay, later back I'll come back to it. So these are block tags, and these what you put inside, these are your inline tags. Okay, so there are other inline tags which I can put here. Okay, for example, I can put here emphasis. Okay, so if I put here an emphasis tag here, so this is going to be emphasized using italics, right? So if I say save, and if I go to page, and emphasis is put on origins inside a h tag, right? H2 tag. Okay, so you see this one, it italicized. So that's what EM does. Now, if there is a formula, right? For example, you know, in scientific notations, I might to write a formula. So how do I write a formula? Let's say, let's put here a tag, which is, you know, a paragraph tag. So let's put here a paragraph tag, and let's end the tag to. Okay. Then I can say something like our formula for success is. Okay, and then here I can put here a code tag, and end of the code tag, right? So our formula for success is 10% inspiration, 10% ration. So I can put here progress equal to 10% inspiration plus 90%. I think I'm putting correct. Let's see how this comes out to be. Let's save and go back here and say refresh. Okay, so you see here this formula is in a different font, right? And this is how the formulas are going to be. Now I can put here something like 0.1 times of inspiration and 0. Okay, so basically maybe that's not how we'll represent. Okay, yeah, let's see, you know, just for namesake, and say save, and here I am going to refresh this page. Okay, so the formula gets updated here, right? And let's say if I want to say some other tags, inline tags, so progress, and then I can put here a sub tag. Okay, so inspiration comes as a subscript to progress. Okay, sorry. And similarly here I can put back progress, and then I can put a sub tag. So that's a sub tag here, /sub. Okay, now let's see how this looks. File, save, and go here and refresh. So you see here that inspiration is a subscript to progress, and perspiration is also a subscript to progress. So this is a sub tag. I can do a super tag also. It can become a superscript. Super and super. Right. And let me just see if I'm recording. Yeah. And if I just save it, and if I was to refresh this, so you see now this is a superscript, right? So the code tag is also there. Similarly, there is another tag. So these are your inline tags. So let me put another tag which I'll call as so in this list. Let me add another tag which is a group tag, which is a new tag in HTML5. This is called H group, and then there is a / H group. Okay, so these are some of the new tags. Div is an old tag, but apart from that, these grouping tags are the new tags. Now let me put another group tag which is called link. Now usually this link is used for you know, okay, used for specifying the link to external file, where I can say what is the relevance of this, and I can say that this is a style sheet, and then it can refer to a path. So I can put here a href, right? And I can put at href okay. So here I was showing you a link tag. Here this is the relevance, that this is going to be referring to a style sheet which is at a certain location, and we have to give only the location within the root or directory, right? So you can say styling one .css, for example, right? So this is the source, and the relevance of that source is that this is a style sheet, right? And so this is a link tag. Besides the link tag, there are other tags. So basically, if it doesn't find that cascading style sheet, it doesn't really matter. It'll just remain the same. So now, besides that, there is something called a meta tag, which basically just says UTF underscore this thing 8. So this is a ASCII character. It can be using 16 or 2 bytes for other than ASCII. So there are other languages also. So there is an extended character set for that. So that's the meta tag. Now besides this, there are certain other tags, like for example here if I want to insert a break, right? So I can put here br. Again, this is an inline tag and this is a single tag, right? So I can put it like this and say save, and let me just do this. So now you see that this has a new line. Is a privately owned company registered in Pune, Maharashtra, India. Now another thing which I can do is I can also put here a line. So for example, after this I want to see a line, right? So I can put here another tag which is called the HR tag, or horizontal ruler, and that will insert a horizontal line. Say save, and here I can refresh it. So here you can see that it has inserted a horizontal line, right? So I have demonstrated a few of the tags here. Now there are other things which I can do, like formatting or styling. Like for example, let's pick up the paragraph tag, and here I say style. So usually you do not code it in here, but if you want, you can. You put all these rules inside your what you call cascading style sheet, but I'm going to just show you. So it's a font, let's say a family, and I just go here, Arial, right? And then I can say end of the statement, I can say color, and I can put the color here as hashtag 00, let's say FF. So this should come as a green color, right? So we deal in development of following technologies should come as a green color, and the font type is Arial. So let's just save this and just refresh that page which we are looking at. Okay, so this has become Arial, but what happened to the color? Okay, so this has to be inside quotation mark. Let's see what happened here. Color 00. Is it capital FF? File, save, and let's refresh this. No. It's the same way. What did I miss? There should not be equal sign here. There should be this thing here. Now that makes sense. Save and go here and refresh. So now you see this has become green color, right? So the style should be separate from the document. So that should be all put under the cascading style sheets. Another thing is I can group any of the block tags. So I can say it belongs to a certain class, and here I can put here class to be beliefs. So whenever I put a paragraph with this class, these are kind of grouped together as as a class, right? And save, and it does nothing to the structure or the styling of the sheet here, right? It doesn't do anything, but that's there. Another thing is that I can put here paragraphs to have a certain ID. Okay, so I can say here ID is equal to about, let's say. Okay, so ID is something which provides uniqueness to P or paragraph, and class provides a category to this paragraph. So you understand, one is referring to the higher level, which is a class. So basically there can be lots of paragraphs which belong to a class, right? Now a particular paragraph can be identified by a unique ID, right? So this is basically an individual paragraph, so that's why it has an ID. So one refers to the higher level, other one refers to the unique definition, ID, right? So that's there. Then there is I can put here style, I can put here what else is there, right? So these are the attributes, right? So I have discussed, let's see, I have discussed all these tags. I have discussed I think I haven't left any of the tags. I have discussed most of the tags. So basically what I wanted to get you through very quickly is what is HTML all about? What are various tags? What are block tags? What are inline tags? And what are they used for? So there are some new tags over here: nav, header, footer, article, aside, edge group. These are the new tags in HTML5. Besides that, there is another list. So the list can be ordered list, unordered list, or it can be a detailed list. So that's what I have shown you here. And then there is a block code, right? There is a hypertext, right? There is a link tag, right? So these tags basically are used for markup. right? So these are basically going to give a certain structure, right? So that's that. So now let's so I'm going to wrap up this section. So we later on we are going to see more of this, right? And the structure of this playlist would be, I would be first taking you through HTML, followed by CSS, and then add a certain functionality to a web page. That would be your JavaScript. And following that, I wanted to cover a desktop UI authoring, what you call, tool, right? So that will be called electronic, and that's the major reason why I am doing this. Electronic, let's say software, uh, electronic firmware or framework, sorry, framework. There should be something called that, right? Yeah. No. Uh, there is electron. Okay, that's called electron. Okay, so this is the framework which ultimately I'm going to explain, because I want to make a desktop GUI, and to understand this framework, this you have to understand HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and stuff like that, right? So I'm going to stop here. Thanks a lot.